you mentioned you went to the Oscars.
I did.
Which is like such a dream for everyone. So can you just tell them what that experience is like?
So it's like it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, at least the way I did it. Because I hope to be at the Oscars eventually.
I know, I'm going to be like, I hope to go once or more than once.
But this was like breaking into the Oscars, essentially what it is. So when you vote for the Academy, you are eligible for tickets, I think like every 3 years or so. Because they have so many members that they can't even fill the theater.
Yeah.
Just overflows it. So this husband and wife producer team who were Academy members, it was their year, and they were starting their own film festival. And it's against Academy rules to like sell your ticket to anybody, but you can give it to whoever you want.
Okay.
And it's you have a ticket for yourself as an Academy member and one guest. So as a promotion for their film festival, they were giving away their additional seat to whoever donated the most money to their film festival.
They're not selling it.
They're not selling it, but they were pretty close.
Yeah.
And
donation optional and encouraged.
Yeah. So they had the two highest donors to the film festival that they were taking along. And they wanted me to be kind of a documentarian filming the entire experience for them. So I knew going into it that I wasn't going to get to go into the Oscars, but I was going to kind of get to go up to the door.
Yeah. Which is very close to the Oscars.
Yeah,
so
which is
that's
very
good
close.
enough, you know.
So the film festival that they were doing was going to be an international film festival based out of Colorado. So they got this limousine, and they were going to drive people cross-country in a limousine from Colorado to Hollywood.
It's a long trip.
Long trip.
In a limo.
In a limo. And so I'm in there with a producer and director, the two highest donors, and myself, and the limo driver and the limo driver's wife. And and we're going cross country.
Yeah.
And it's Colorado, so the limo isn't the nicest, let's say. It's like a 1970s limo, and the guy's only used to driving people to prom.
Oh my God! Why would he accept the job to drive from California to LA?
Well, because I think it's the celebrity of it. And he's like,
I'm
going
to the Oscars too.
Yeah.
This is his Oscar story too.
Yeah,
You're sharing this with
exactly.
him.
So the guy who was doing the festival was kind of doing it a little bit out of spite to another Colorado festival who he didn't get along with very much.
Yeah.
So the day we're supposed to leave to go to the Oscars is like a Friday. And he decides, instead of leaving, he's going to drive through the town that has the rival film festival in the limousine. And he's going to, like, put the banner on the side of the limousine. And he's going to stand out the top, like, rubbing it in with everybody.
What? This is such small town.
It is such small town. And he actually got a hold of a real Oscar, too. And that was part of his fundraisers, like, come see the Oscar and stuff like that. And the people who were the highest donors got to deliver that Oscar back to its rightful owner, who was going to be a surprise to them.
Okay.
So he had that Oscar, so he's hanging out the top of the limousine, holding an Oscar, trying to rub it in, as if, like, the rival film festival people are just sitting, like, on the porch in their rocking chairs, being like, oh, there he goes!
Oh, that guy!
So he's wasting all this time, and, eventually we get going. We make it to the Colorado border around, 10, and we decide to keep going. Meanwhile, he hasn't actually set up accommodations for these people. So he's actually literally going into these hotels with the Oscar, hoping that those people are starstruck trying to get free rooms.
What? Has he ever been to LA?
He lives in LA. He is like Mr. LA. And LA's as eccentric as you can get.
Yeah.
But can't find the right person. So he just keeps going to the next, And then we're like halfway in the middle of nowhere in Utah. The limousine breaks down. It's like 1 a.m.
Because it's the shitty old limousine.
Yeah, and these are people who have paid a ton of money to the film festival to be treated like royalty. And, we don't even have reception, so he's out, like, trying to flag cars down. Well, when you get to reception, can you call us a tow truck? A tow truck eventually gets to us. He doesn't want to drive us forward. He wants to drive us backwards to his town, which is like an hour back.
Yeah.
And then we wake up on Saturday, right before Oscar Sunday, and then figure out what's wrong with the car. It's whatever charges the battery won't charge the battery.
Okay.
So once the battery is dead, the car's dead. So what he decides to do is he gets a ton of batteries and kind of alternates them going in, gives it a jump, and then puts the other battery in another car that's following us.
Okay.
To charge up, and then once that dies, pulls off to the side of the road, swap, get a
batteries.
jump. And yeah, so it was kind of ingenious.
Yeah, it's thrifty. It's resourceful.
Because we were in the middle of nowhere, and the part to charge the battery would have been like days to get to us.
Yeah.
So that's what we do, and we stop in Vegas for a little while, around 11, and he again goes into the hotels with the Oscar trying to get free accommodations and can't find any.
It's so tacky. How do you how do you have that conversation? Hi, I need a room.
I'll let you take a picture with it. I think that's what he said. I think it's literally what he said. And then he even wanted to go like down the strip out of the top of the limousine with the Oscar, like holding it and flashing it. Like this guy, it's hilarious.
I mean, did he let anyone else stick their head out holding the Oscar? Sounds like it's all his day.
And meanwhile, the people who pay all this money are just like getting more over it and more over it. And his wife, who's the other Academy voter, is like super stressed out because of the way he's acting. And she had this allergic reaction to where like her face would like break out in like hives due to stress. So she didn't want to go to the Oscars.
Okay.
So they had this additional ticket, and they offered it to me. They're like, you can have it if you can get in. Because it has like, a woman's name on it. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. Like, I'll try. I don't have to pay in advance or anything. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see if we can go. So we pull into L.A. finally at like 7 in the morning on Oscar Sunday. We drop the people off at their hotel. I'm crashing at his place, which I think is like in Burbank or something like that. And then get a couple hours of sleep, then wake up, get in the tux, and start going to the Oscars, wondering if I'm going to get in or not. We pull up in the limousine, and instantly he wants me to film the entire thing. So I get out with my camera, and then security's all over me.
Yeah, is it like a really conspicuous camera?
Well, yeah, I mean it would have been 2010, so it's it wasn't. I don't think GoPros were even a thing then, So it was like it was a decent big camera. So they want me to put it back in the car. So I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, fine. I put it back in the car. Tobey Maguire was in the limousine in front of us, so I'm like on the red carpet at the same time as him getting out of, but security's all over me. Yeah. And then we walk in to the security area, and they want you to give up all of your phones. So he wanted to get phones into the Oscars because his idea was he was hosting another fundraiser back in Colorado where he was going to call people from inside the Oscars. Like, I'm here at the Oscars, Colorado people. Yeah. So he hid cell phones on all of us, hoping that they wouldn't find
Where,
them.
like in your pant legs?
Yeah, literally.
Like a little gun strap or whatever
and,
with the phone?
Out of 7 cell phones, we actually managed to get like 3 in.
Oh my god!
He kind of was schmoozy, and I think knew a lot of the people who were actually doing security because he was more connected, so they didn't even happen to be glanced down at the name on my ticket. Yeah. So all of a sudden I'm in. So I'm actually made it past the barrier.
And you're like, oh my god.
And I'm like super nervous, right? I'm 18 years old.
And not a woman, which the ticket says here.
And there's 2 lines. There's the Express celebrity line, and then there's like the Working Hollywood line. So we're in the Working Hollywood line, to get into the Oscars, and everybody famous is going past and getting their pictures taken. And eventually, like, we round and we make it in, and we're in, the Dolby Theater, right? Yeah. So he wants to kind of do his crazy old thing, and he gets the cell phones out, and he wants me to do stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm in here. I'm not getting kicked out of here. Yeah. So I just sit in my chair, and I enjoy the show. Meanwhile, he takes the cell phone, and he literally told me the story afterwards about how he chased Jack Nicholson into the bathroom and tried to get Jack Nicholson on the phone with the people in Colorado.
What? Oh my god.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And apparently Jack Nicholson grabbed the phone from him and said, no, and then like shut the phone. So I'm just sitting there thoroughly enjoying the show, completely blown away. It was the year The Departed came out, so it was the first year Martin Scorsese finally got his Oscar, which was super deserving. And this director was who I worked for was having a little bit of director envy. So everybody's...
Who does he think he is, by the way? Like, this whole story.
Yeah, 1980s exploitation films. And when I think Scorsese had been nominated 8 times, and he finally won for The Departed.
Yeah.
So he gets a complete standing ovation from his peers. And the guy I worked for was, I think, the only person who sat, did not give a standing ovation, and did not clap for Martin Scorsese getting his Oscar.
What point is he trying to prove, and who does he think cares?
I know. It's absolutely insane. So what we do, we thoroughly enjoy the show. I don't get into any shenanigans like he does. And afterwards we're leaving, and I'm thinking, like, this is just the craziest thing of my life. This is, like, amazing.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better than this.
Yeah.
And as I'm standing there, he's, like, talking to a couple people who are lingering, and we're outside the Dolby Theater, and around the corner comes George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola, who presented the award to Scorsese.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big George Lucas fan, I have to say, but Francis Ford Coppola, oh my God, I absolutely adore him as a director.
Yeah.
So, like, I am flabbergasted, and I'm like, this is my chance. So I just reach my hand out as he's passing me by, and one of his favorite films of mine is this little film that not a lot of people know about called Rumblefish, that he did in the early 80s. And I'm like, Rumblefish is my favorite film. And he, like, shakes my hand, and he says, oh, thank you very much, and just walks past me. And I'm like, nothing's gonna get better than this. Nothing's gonna get better than this.
Rumblefish, my favorite film. Imagine.
So,
oh my God.
that could have been it. That could have been it. That could have been the night. But this director decided that the night was not over.
What?
He wanted to get into the Vanity Fair after party.
Of course.
So he says the only way to get in is to be on the guest list, to be a celebrity, or to have an Oscar in hand.
Oh
and
my
he
God.
had an Oscar in hand, so he removes the nameplate from it, because they actually mail you the nameplates like a week later.
Yeah.
And gets in the limousine. He knows where the party is, and he drives through the security, and the security doesn't want to let us in. And he's like, oh, we have an Oscar. And they're like, yep, come right this way, because they saw it was like a real Oscar and everything. So we made it into the Vanity Fair after party.
Cool.
And he knows that these people know him, and they know that he didn't win an Oscar.
Yeah, because everyone was
So he shoves
watching
the Oscar in my
Oscars.
hand.
What?
And he's like, you're gonna hold this Oscar, and you're gonna lead us in. So here I am walking around the Vanity Fair after party with an Oscar in my hand.
Yeah.
And it's something's fun. I saw Leo DiCaprio, Al Gore, Oprah, like everybody's everywhere, and it is absolutely insane.
Oh my God.
I get a tap on the shoulder, and I turn around, and it's Martin Scorsese. And he hands me his personal camera, and he's like, hey, can you take a picture for me of me and my friend? I'm like, sure, of course. I take a picture for him, and he looks down, and he sees that I have an Oscar in my hand. And he says, oh, you got one too.
Oh no! Oh my! And you're like, I'm somebody.
I know.
Oh
and then I just start talking with him just really briefly, and I have really thick eyebrows, as you can tell by the video. And I said, on set, a lot of my friends have nicknamed me Scorsese because of the thick eyebrows.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, people with thick eyebrows are more creative. And I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, thanks. So that was like the extent of our,
That's
exchange.
enough.
And that's just totally enough. So that is the peak and the pinnacle of the story, as if like any of those moments could have been the climax. No, that's the climax.
Wow.
Yeah, literally the entire story. I'm like, what can you even possibly say that will add
Beyond
to it?
that.
And oh my God.
So yeah.
So did he ask you? Did you have to lie to him about having an Oscar? Did he ask you
No,
any
he
questions?
just brushed over it.
Okay, so he wasn't, because he doesn't care if you're like the
Yeah.
assistant writer
it
or
was-
whatever.
Yeah, because he obviously didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure, he was just thinking about, am I going to win? Am I
Yeah.
not going to win?
Of course.
To where he wasn't paying attention to every person who walked on that stage. And, some of the minor awards, there's like 5 people walk
Yeah.
on stage for like,
Half a
sound
second,
editing
yeah.
and things like that. So
Yeah.
I could have been one of those people to him.
Oh my God.
The 18-year-old kid with the Oscar.
18-year-old kid. And then we eventually, they did give the Oscar back to the person. It was Louise Fletcher for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, okay.
I was holding her Oscar, Louise Fletcher's Oscar.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get an Oscar and recreate your name.
Yeah. So if you
Let's
want
see,
to break
let's do
in
it.
to the Vanity Fair after
Yeah.
party, steal an Oscar.
Easy. Let's do it, guys.
That's the new heist. That's
The new, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be a good heist movie.
It is. I
Yeah.
am writing it actually. I've
You
written
are?
I've written a version of it, and I'm
Mhm.
rewriting it, and it is kind of that experience put into a feature screenplay. So
Yeah, that's perfect.
see if I can sell it around Hollywood.
I'm sure you can.
So Yeah, that's that story for you.
Or at any point were you like lightheaded or?
Yeah.
I still am.
You think it was?
still
You
am.
might have actually just been asleep the whole time.
Yeah,
It was
right?
a dream.
No, it was
Yeah.
one of those things to where I was so young and I was so nervous about being
Yeah.
kicked out of something like that. I was just on
Yeah.
my best behavior. I mean, the Vanity Fair after party had an open bar, so I could have gone and gotten some booze. I was like, no, I'm not drinking a single drop of alcohol
Yeah.
here. Like, there's celebrities.
Yeah. You know what's funny though, and what's crazy is it was this guy's like kind of insane mentality that made it all happen. Like
It wasn't me at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't me at all.
Like, I mean, it's like, and we make fun of people like that, but it's like, he
It
actually
worked.
had the most successful night probably ever.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's how he got his success.
Yeah,
Just by randomly
being that gutsy.
forcing himself. Because I guess, technically, what's the worst thing going to happen? Or you're going to get
You
thrown
kick him
out.
out, you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Did you get any cool pictures with people? Or did
Yeah, I
you
got
not want to,
some-
like, be that guy?
I didn't want to be that guy, but
Yeah.
we did get some cool pictures. I got some. It was more of other people and things like that rather than me there. I did get some pictures with some like not so famous people, but there I do have a personal picture that I took of Al Gore talking to Kate Winslet. That was super cool.
So just you took a picture of their conversation.
Of their conversation. Yeah.
I would do, like, a selfie, but them talking to each other in the
Yeah.
background, like... like, just to prove I was here.
Yeah. So yeah, so it was amazing.
That's
Absolutely
awesome.
insane story.
Yeah, I loved it.